All right, Alex, so it looks like it's that time of the year again.
That nice time of the year again?
It's fall time. Welcome back to Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans. I'm Steven.
I'm Alec.
And today we are running a list of 6 bourbon and ryes that are good for fall time.
Yes, before we get into that though, please, if you have not already, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. We appreciate the support. But getting back into it, it's fall time, Steve.
Fall time.
You know what that
Fall
means in
time.
Arizona? Do you know what that means?
It means it's pretty much like summer, but like if you live somewhere northern.
Exactly. It just got under 100 this week.
Yeah.
I drove with my windows down the other day.
Yeah, so we're in Arizona. Our fall list is going to be a little bit different. It's still not yet quite that nice temperature where we can drink barrel proof like it's water.
Yeah.
Without it being too aggressive outside. It's just
I don't have 3 coats on and then I get the warmness inside and it makes me feel even better.
But that being said, we still do really appreciate the kind of fall vibe, the like spicier kind of like baking type flavors, you know, Thanksgiving-esque flavors that fall brings.
Exactly.
So we put together a list of 6 bourbons and ryes. We went 3 bourbons, 3 ryes that are good for fall in our area / a little bit warmer climates.
Yeah.
More or less.
Something like that.
Yeah. And first off, we're going to start off with our first rye, which is what, Alec?
First rye, Old Forester 100 rye.
Yep.
Boom.
The tried, true, lovable Old Forester 100 proof rye. This is a sweet, easy, creamy rye, but it also brings a nice like layer of like spicy cherry oak.
Yeah.
It's very, very
I always get like a tiny bit of like a peppery cinnamon.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you get the idea, right?
Yeah. It's spicy, it's easy, it's really cheap, and
It's pretty
there's not
available.
really, it's available, it's not hard to find.
Yeah. But it's just,
$20.
Right? Alright, now let's move it on to the first bourbon on the list. What do we got, Steve?
So the first bourbon on the list is going to be Elijah Craig Small Batch. So this is kind of moving in that nuttier, oakier, spicier kind of flavor profile of a bourbon. So it's still very sweet, but again, it's following the same premise I did with like the Old Forester 100, where it's kind of that daily drinker, you know?
Yeah.
It's sub $30, easy to find.
Yeah, and Elijah Craig just has, you know, a really easy drinkability to it, to where when you have some, you know that you can have a glass or 2 and you don't necessarily get bored, you don't get like weird notes in your mouth, you don't get, you know, drunk easy, but you get happy.
Yeah. I find this to be an oddly complex.
Yes.
And I say that because typically I find stuff that's a little bit lower proof to be kind of boring. Anything sub 100, I'm usually not dumbfounded with, unless if it's super ultra like complex and has a lot of flavor profiles, and this kind of follows along that line of like budget complexity. Like the budget price for this and the level of complexity you get if you're into a little bit spicier flavor profile, which that's why, you know, we're not putting like an Old Forester 100 like I normally would up here, because that's just not that kind of flavor profile for us.
No, but when you come to Elijah Craig, it's a good bottle to have, and it's a good bourbon that gets you into that fall time mood, huh?
Yeah. But Alec, what is that second rye for this?
All right, now this one literally screams to me Thanksgiving time, and I love that. JD Single Barrel Rye. This is delicious, as we know. If you can find the barrel proof version, save that for Christmas.
Yeah.
But Single Barrel Rye is delicious. It's great. JD makes a fantastic rye out of this, and it's got this nice spiciness. It's got a really nice, like, creamy ending to it, and just throughout the whole palate. And actually, no, the nose comes on super sweet. The palate comes in with that hard hit of spicy, kind of like bready cinnamon, and
it's like a baked bread.
Yeah, and it's just so good. So I love this one.
Yeah, it's like stuffing with like less spices mixed in the realm.
I would bake a turkey with this.
Yeah. This is honestly, I couldn't agree more with any one of the ryes on this list than this one. Just for like Thanksgiving as a whole, like this is very bready. It's very like baking spices, but it's not like baking spices in the sense of like you would normally have baking spices. It's more like we deemed it cooking spices in the review. Like it's like those spices like that you just normally like when people say baking spices, it's more like cinnamon, clove.
Yeah, I think at one point it was either rosemary or it was thyme or it was one of those like leafy baking spices that I was getting notes of, and I was like, that's super cool to have in rye.
Yeah, so honestly, out of all the ones on this list, this is hands down a great fall rye.
Absolutely. But Bourbon 2.
Bourbon. So the second bourbon, which I almost just dropped off the table, is going to be Four Roses Small Batch Select. So this is the upgrade of the single barrel, the small batch. Like this is the higher proof version. It's like 103 or 104. It is 104, and it's bringing that Four Roses flavor profile. So it's that spicy, kind of nutty aspect that I love so much about Four Roses, but it's bringing it at a little bit higher proof. And I'm assuming a little bit higher age as well. So it's just overall like it's what I would say is like it's the older brother of the single barrel to me.
Yes, and I think that for this one, because of that little bit higher proof and that little bit longer age, you get a really good oak note. And I think that Four Roses has good oak notes in general, but this one has like a really good like hitting oak note, and I like that. So if you want to take something to the woods, if you want to take something out on the lake, this is a great bottle for it. And Four Roses.
But yeah, this is roughly around like $50, $60-ish, but honestly, it is worth every single penny because this is just a fantastic Four Roses.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. All right, so the final rye, delicious rye, one of my favorite ryes. I love
my favorite rye of all the ryes on this list.
Absolutely. Rare breed rye. Rare breed rye.
Love this rye.
Oh yeah. Now this is when we're kind of getting into a little bit more of the spicier bunch. I think this comes in at 112 or so.
Yeah. So 112.
So obviously this is going to be like towards the end of fall, maybe. You're getting to a point where things are getting a little hairier outside.
Barrel proof rye.
Barrel proof rye. But one thing about rare breed rye is that it is really good when it comes to having those super spicy notes that are actually kind of like spicy in a way. I've gotten like little hints of kind of like
to me it's so much black pepper.
Yes,
like it is
black
pepper all the way.
I'm trying to remember there's one note I got on this that was like actually kind of spicy. I don't want to say cayenne, but like something that actually had like a
paprika.
Yes. Okay, maybe paprika, something like that.
I mean, I don't know if I would agree with that.
But something that's like actually spicy. And I think that that's one thing that I really like about this rye too, is that it's so good, but it has a solid finish.
Yeah, like if
through and through.
This, I would say, is probably like towards the end of fall, almost going into winterish. Or if you live in a colder climate, I bet this is a great bottle for you during the fall time. That being said, we don't live in it. So this for us is kind of like towards the end, like post Thanksgiving. You're done with the Jack Daniel's single barrel and it's getting a little colder out, so you're cool with a little bit more proof and you just want something that's overall spicy. And I think this is so good with that like black pepper and nutty like turkey funk
and all that kind of good stuff.
But none of it's like candied. It's very dark and earthy, which follows along those fall vibes really well, in my opinion. But in my opinion, the best of all of these on this list for fall in our area, I would say, isn't actually a rye. It's a bourbon, which is Knob Creek 12-year. I freaking love this bourbon so much. It is 100 proof, 12 years old, and it is that Knob Creek profile, but it's that ultra aged Knob Creek profile. There is something wonderful about Knob Creek that I love, like once it starts getting into like the 12, 13, 14
because it isn't just straight nuts. It's still nuts, but it's a nuts.
It's like this nutty oak that like just, it's so rich.
Right. It literally tastes like peanut butter sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's that creamy nuttiness.
Yeah, so this is a wonderful offering from Knob Creek that is absolutely amazing. It's a little around like $55, $60. So it is a price jump from that 9-year-old 120 proof, but I think
you're still getting a lot more out of it.
Yeah, the higher age The higher age with the lower proof somehow I think is better. I mean, we haven't had them side by side yet to compare them, but honestly, I think this is fantastic just because it's not overly spicy, but it's super complex, it's rich, it's viscous. It is just an amazing bourbon altogether.
Absolutely. And I agree with you that dropping the proof a little bit and aging a little further, it kind of helps, because first time I ever had Knob Creek, I'm pretty sure I was like, wow, that is burning in my mouth and it just kind of tastes like nuts. This gives you that chance to really dive into the flavors, the complexity, and overall just the really compressed version of Knob Creek.
Yeah, all these are fantastic,
Yes.
but like just the 100 proof goes really, really well with where we're at, because once you get higher proof and it's like still kind of hot outside, it kind of kills it for me. So that's why I think this is significantly better for this time of year.
Yes, as I said, this is basically the bourbon you bring to a sporting event after October.
Yeah. But that's a wrap for this video. To conclude all these, we got Knob Creek 12-year-old as our bourbon for the sporting events, like Alex said.
Sporting events. We've got Rare Breed Rye for when you're getting past Thanksgiving. It's 1 a.m. on November 28th, 9th, and you're getting ready for harsh times.
Yeah. And then you got your 4 of the small batch select. This is just your overall easy, chill, relax, complex bourbon.
Yes.
With spicier characteristics.
Absolutely. And then JD Rye, fantastic bottle, beautiful flavor, and overall this is just the kind of thing that you're thinking of when you're walking through the forest and you see the changing leaves.
Yep. And then Elijah Craig small batch, your super cheap, budget, complex, spicier whiskey that is going to be great as a daily drinker throughout the fall time.
And last but certainly not least, Old Forester 100 Rye. This is what you get drunk on
Amazing.
after it's Halloween. Halloween?
You just get drunk on it throughout the whole year.
But Halloween especially.
Honestly, that could go on any list anywhere. As long as Rye's in the category, fantastic. Love it.
Halloween.
But that's a wrap for this video. Please do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys thought about this list. Let us know what you guys would pick as your 3 bourbons, 3 ryes for the fall season.
Yes, and I brought this up to Steve earlier. If you're living somewhere where there is a lot colder climate, say like the Northeast,
This ain't your list.
This ain't your list, but I am curious, what is your list? Because you've got our fall time packed into like a month, basically. And I want to know, what do you grab? Because I'm curious.
But your fall time is basically our winter time.
Yes, exactly. But also check us out on Instagram and Facebook. We have got a couple of different series that are on there. They're all fun to watch. They're all fun for us. So let us know what you think and tell us if we should bring back.
Yeah. Cheers, y'all. We'll see you later.